Hello, we're here today with Volume 2 from the Eucharistic Heart of Jesus, August 19th, 2003. Jesus, I wish to speak to you today about love. I am all love. All love is me. My children of this world must learn about love again, because for many, the essence of love has been distorted. So distorted that they do not recognize it as valuable or seek to obtain it. Love is quiet and steady. Love can be relied upon. Love does not diminish in the face of temptation. There are many kinds of love upon earth, and all genuine love has its place. I want my children to examine the genuine opportunities for love in their lives. Certainly, a family is a primary source of love. But many families have failed in love, and their members drift away in bitterness. Children, the obligation to love someone does not mean that you will not be hurt. On the contrary, often, and I must say usually, this obligation to love ensures that you will be hurt. And it carries with it another obligation, the obligation to forgive. If you would like to see an example of someone who has been hurt, look at me. You did not deserve to be hurt, little one. I understand, and I see everything. I also did not deserve to be hurt. I tell you now, dearest ones, that you have hurt me many times. Your neglect alone wounds me terribly, but I love you. I understand you are not perfect. I look upon you and truly I forgive you. Please accept my forgiveness and let us begin our walk together anew. Please, dear wounded child, take my forgiveness into your heart and let it make a home there. If a guest is welcome, they cause little trouble to their host, because a guest who feels truly welcome will make themselves at home and not cause their host any trouble. Isn't that true, dear one? I'm your guest. I'm a guest in your soul. Make me welcome, and I will heal, nourish, and recover your soul. Your heart will beat only with love. I will cleanse the bitterness and permanently remove the hurt. I will leave such a surplus of forgiveness that you will have plenty to lavish upon those who have hurt you. Dear children, seek out people who have hurt you, especially in your family, and offer your forgiveness. You don't need to look for it. Ask me where it is. And indeed, I will hand forgiveness to you. If you do this, you will heal. You may say, Jesus, it is too hard. I cannot do this, as I've been hurt too badly. My child, again, I counsel you to practice. Say these words of forgiveness in your head, and then say them aloud. Become used to the sound of them. With my graces, it will not only be possible, it will be easy. Trust me, I love you with a genuine love and seek your peace. I want no barrier of bitterness between us. I want to heal you. I want to heal families. Do not be afraid. If someone rejects your forgiveness, that is their loss. You will heal, and you will be rewarded. It matters not to me what a recipient does with a gift you have given. I look only at the fact that you have given it when I examine your life. Welcome me as your guest, my beloved one. I will place so much love and forgiveness in your heart that you will not be able to give it away fast enough. I am God. Believe in me. I mean, sometimes I think words can detract from what the grace. I'll try not to detract. What I would say is this idea of forgiveness. Forgiveness doesn't have to be transactional. It doesn't have to be a transaction between you and someone else. In your heart, you can decide for forgiveness, and it can be a process rather than an event, because there are some things where people have been so vulnerable and wounded at the same time that the idea of forgiveness makes them feel they will be naked again before cruelty. We have a little friend who is a fly who's enjoying the day. This idea of placing yourself again in a woundable condition can be a lot to manage on a little psyche who's learned to protect oneself. What I would say to you is this: Christ is making it clear. He doesn't want you to do this alone. He doesn't want you to become as vulnerable as you were in the past or something. You don't need to communicate with another person even to forgive them. Now, the Lord says in some cases, seek them out and tell them, I forgive you. But I wouldn't worry about that unless there's someone whom you need to do that with. Jesus is going to tell you. He's going to handle this for you. The first thing, those of us practicing the contemplative prayer structure would say that we would place, like somebody reported this. She didn't think she could forgive a person ever, but she recognized that she needed to, that it would be good if she could. And so with Christ, she hung a picture of this person in her forgiveness room. Way in the back corner, she set up on the top second floor, tiny little picture. Wouldn't be any chance she could see it. And then she stopped going into the room in her prayer life. And mystically, when she went into this prayer, she walked past that door every day because she couldn't enter the room because she had placed a picture of this person in there. She said, I didn't give it much thought, but I did have an awareness that I had hung a picture of this individual in the forgiveness room, and so I had designated that this needed to be done. And then I left it with Christ. She said, about a month later, I was walking down the hall in my interior structure, and she said, I realized walking past the forgiveness room didn't cause me any anxiety or distress anymore. Because in the past, initially, she had gone past it quickly with an awareness that she was, getting past it as fast as she could. And then she realized something. She had forgiven the individual. She had begun to consider the wounds that had prompted that person's actions. And in so doing, she had allowed compassion to come into her being for the culprit. Now that's beautiful. What I'm telling you is don't over worry about an action of forgiveness. Park it with the Lord. Let him handle it. We don't know anyone's full story, and we don't know why they commit the actions they do. Sometimes we're not even aware of why we commit the sins that we do. Isn't that true? I'll just say this little piece. Now, there's this thing that has to happen for people to heal. You have a negative action, and we know what they are. We tend to know what we shouldn't have done. But we can carry that with us, an awareness of that mistake, sin, grave error in judgment, or letting someone down badly. We tend to carry that with us. Now, drop down here, and there is the human being. And this is the wound. The human being has sustained a wound. And then there's, let's call it a black spot. In Ireland, you have a black spot where accidents take place. And they just put black dots. And when you see one, you're like, whoa, hit the brakes and go slowly. You have this action. In order to heal, we have to help you collapse. There has to be a collapse between that space, the wound, the human wound, and the negative expression of the human wound. If we collapse that space, what do we have? Tears, sorrow, understanding, compassion, and healing. And healing. Have you ever carried yourself with an awareness of something you've done that was wrong, and then somebody says, but I know why you did that. Of course you did that. I understand completely. What happens? We tend to sag in relief and often cry. And that's the healing coming out, the grief, the sorrow, the remorse. That's a purgatorial state. People dread purgatory. Not me. Because purgatory is truth. It's simply truth, capital T, truth. And capital T, truth accompanies the wound, the compassion, and the action. And that prompts the sorrow for the mistake. Could we have handled something differently? If the answer is yes, we have sorrow that we chose not to. Jesus will give you the forgiveness that you need to extend to another person. If you don't feel you can, please don't worry about that. You just hand that problem to the Lord Jesus Christ, and He will manage it for you.